Have you been seeing repeating numbers like 1111, 222, or having the strangest synchronicities? This is a sign that you're spiritually waking up. Maybe you're like me and you've seen the same repeating number on the clock over and over and over again, and you've gotten to the point where you're asking yourself, what is going on here? If that's you, then stay tuned for this video, because I'm gonna share 4 signs that show you that you are waking up spiritually. I'm Brittney Carmichael, a soulful life and business coach for female entrepreneurs, a psychic medium, and the founder of Shine School, where I empower women to shine from the inside. Okay, so the first sign that you're spiritually waking up is that you're going to start seeing repeating numbers. 1111, 222, 444, 333, 777. I want to know, is there a repeating number that you see constantly? Leave in the comments below. For me, I have seen the same number on the clock every single day since I was 15 years old. That's like a long time. So 11:24 shows up on the clock every single day, no matter if it's morning or night. I just ask, what time is it? I wonder what time. And I look at the clock and it's 11:24. And it started to get a little frustrating and it started to get kind of weird. And eventually I told Chris about it, my husband, and I said, hey, I just want to let you know, I just keep seeing the same number. I really don't get what that means. And then I met a friend and he said the same thing was happening to him. He kept seeing 416, 416, 416. Which 416 was his birthday, so it kind of made sense. 1124 didn't mean anything to me. So I started digging. I started looking up and realizing that angels use the universal language of numbers to communicate with us. And so they start showing you signs through numbers, repeating numbers specifically, because they get your attention. Ones, actually every number has a meaning. Ones are about manifesting, 2 is about balance, 3 is about creativity, 4 is about stability, 5 is about change. I could keep going on. You can look this stuff up, but each of these repeating numbers carries a message. So when you see 1111, it's a sign to keep your thoughts positive, especially because there are 4 number ones, and number 1 is all about manifesting and keeping your thoughts positive so that you create the reality that you want to experience. So if you see 1111 on the clock, it's most likely a divine reminder to check in with your thoughts and elevate them if you aren't at a positive state. So repeating numbers are going to keep showing up when you start to awaken. Now, the second thing that's going to start happening when you're awakening is that you're going to experience the most crazy synchronicities. You're going to run into people that you put it out there. I really would like to know more about this. And then you run into someone at the grocery store that's an expert at it. You're going to start saying you want to experience more opportunities, and then they start knocking at your door. You're going to start saying, I need help with XYZ, and suddenly this TV show is talking about XYZ. Or so-and-so reaches out and sends you an email and says, hey, I noticed that you might need a little help with this. Can I offer my services? And it might be the exact same thing that you are asking for. So synchronicities are going to start happening on a rapid rate. So things are going to begin to start manifesting a lot more quickly. You're going to become aware of this present moment. That's another sign, is that you're living more in the present and you're not so worried about the future, and you're not still feeling victim to the past. You start finding more peacefulness in this present moment. That is the third thing, is being more present. The book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, is such a great book. It's a little dry, I won't lie about that, but it's a great reminder that all we have is this present moment, that this future that we're hoping for, and most of us are worrying about it, so we're not even excited about it, isn't promised. I know that to be true because I watched my mom suffer a massive stroke. You guys most likely know my story and her story, and she almost didn't wake up. Luckily, she was saved. It was a miracle, but luckily we were able to move through that trauma and find the wisdom and find the lesson. But a lot of that I took from that experience was that we aren't promised tomorrow, that was a routine hysterectomy that my mom went in and had a massive stroke that paralyzed her. We didn't plan for that. So a lot of the times that when we're going through these awakenings, like my mom's stroke was a massive turning point in my awakening, if not the friggin' spark, like the sparking point of it. But a lot of the time, spiritual awakening can seem painful. Some people ask, well, why is it so hard? I thought it should be easy once you have all this awareness and enlightenment, right? Well, it can be hard when you're awakening because all humans resist change. And when we're gaining more awareness, more conscious, more presence, we realize that what we were living is in our comfort zone, and there's so much more. And it can be painful to step outside of the comfort zone. So sometimes spiritual awakening can feel painful because not only do you have to look at the past and let it go so that you're no longer victim to the past, that you learn the lessons and you let go so that karma can be free. You don't need to carry it on with you. But a lot of the times it's because we're resisting the change, and suffering only happens when we're resisting what is. So you become more present and more peaceful in this moment when you accept exactly what is. If you're wanting to lose weight and you aren't at the goal weight that you're at, you're going to suffer if you continue to put yourself out into the future and hope for something else. You'll end suffering when you finally accept exactly where you are at in this moment and know that it's a continual journey. It's an evolving process, that you'll eventually get to that goal. But if you can't be happy with where you're at right now, most likely you won't be happy with the achievement of that goal, because you'll be just on to the next thing. What's that next thing that will maybe fulfill me? But if you're not being fulfilled by just being in the moment, then no goal, no CEO certificate, none of that, no climbing the ladder will ever truly fulfill you. So the fourth sign that you are spiritually awakening, and what I mean by that is opening up your heart to have more compassion, to tune in with the higher spirit and the love of God, or whatever word you want to use. I don't typically use that word, but you know, so many people say, well, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. And this is what I'm talking about, that deep connection with yourself and with that deeper power that is within all of us, right? So another sign, the fourth sign that you're spiritually awakening, your heart is opening and you're becoming more empathic and compassionate, is that you find yourself removing toxic, negative people in your life and cutting off those old relationships that aren't positively serving you. And you might find yourself connecting deeper with nature. A lot of the times we're drawn to nature because that honestly is where all the truth is found. The healing medicines, the food, the answers, the wisdom, everything that you are seeking can be found in the reflection of nature. So the fourth sign that you might be spiritually awakening is that you're being pulled away from drama. You've turned off the Kardashians and you've gone and taken a hike in the woods. Is that resonating with you? Are you finding yourself being more pulled away from those toxic relationships and trying to find more connection and more community? And for me, that started with my connection to nature and realizing how we are all a part of this. And you know, they say leave this place better than you found it. And if you take a moment to think about it, we are here, we are on this planet, and we are all in it together. So if we can clean up our own environment, and that starts with this spiritual awakening, this self-discovery process, if we can choose to play our part in our lives, we affect the whole on a grand scale, and we don't even realize it. So if you're someone who's being drawn to the light, light working is another term for this. If you're waking up, if you're starting to have more awareness, if you're starting to have more realizations and understanding of truth, and you're on that quest for knowledge, then and you're drawn here and you're watching this video, then you are someone who is waking up, and your heart, your love, your light is absolutely needed. So trust the flow of the synchronicities, say yes to what feels good, find yourself in nature and disconnecting from anything that is negative and doesn't positively support your growth, and you will be well on your way. If you're struggling with self-discovery, if you are still like labeled with all the different ideas and worries and fears and names and thoughts that other people have called you, then I invite you to join my free video series called Awaken Your Authentic Self. This is going to help you to peel back all of the fear, to look at those beliefs, and to really begin to question, who am I? And that's the biggest, most powerful question you can ask yourself to start that self-love and that self-discovery process, is to figure out who are you beneath all of those labels. Whether they're limiting or loving, they're still labels that that aren't you at a deep soul level. So if you're someone who wants to take your journey of self-discovery to the next level, then join me in my free video series called Awaken Your Authentic Self by going to brittneycarmichael.com/awaken. I'll leave all that information below, and I want to know which one out of these 4 are you being drawn to the most? Are you noticing that is happening in your life? Are you someone who's going through this spiritual awakening process and you feel alone? If you feel alone, then come join me inside my private Facebook group, Shine Tribe Sisterhood. It's a community of thousands of like-minded soul sisters who are going through the same spiritual self-discovery that you are right now. And I know that when I went through this process, I felt alone. I felt like no one understood me. No one in my family. I was the black sheep, so they just didn't get me, and I needed that tribe. So if you're someone who is struggling during this self-discovery process of connecting with people who get you, then come join me inside Shine Tribe Sisterhood over on Facebook. You can join by going to brittneycarmichael.com/join, and you'll sign up not only to receive my weekly inspiration in your inbox, but you'll also be connected to my tribe of lightworking soul sisters. So I'm so thankful that you're here. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was and where you're at on your spiritual journey, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.